about you, but have you got the hang of how to use your smartphone? Well, if like many of us, you struggle to know the ins and outs of operating a smartphone, our next item will be of huge use to you, so it will be. Earlier this year, two second-level students from Holy Rosary College in Montbellew produced a guide for those of us who want to get more out of our phones, and now their idea has grown legs. And this week, we'll see them deliver in-person workshops on how to use your mobile phone better and get used to it as well. They've been telling Sally and Barret the story so far.
My name is Paul Mannion and I'm co-founder of Know Your Phone, and I'm a fifth-year business student in Holy Rosary College, Montbellew.
My name is James Dunnew. I'm also a co-founder of Know Your Phone, and I'm a fifth-year student at Holy Rosary College.
Tell me a little bit, firstly, Paul, about the premise for the whole project, how you came up with this idea and what it was based around.
Yeah, so basically James's granny, she got a phone for, I think it was the 2020 Christmas time, and she was struggling with it. And I think she said one day, she said to James, wouldn't it be great if there was a book? And at the time we had just entered into the competition, and we were thinking about an idea, and we were struggling to think about what to come up with an idea. And James was like, well, why not go with James's granny, who said wouldn't it be great if there was a book, and why not make a book to show. It started off showing the elderly how to make it, but it developed further than that. And why not just make a book and show people how to use a smartphone, start off with the beginner aspects and go back down to the advanced features then.
So James, I'd imagine your granny was a great source for this whole project at the start.
Yeah, so throughout the whole process of the book, I suppose even the idea, when we went from the idea, then we kind of had to come up with the contents. And for myself, like, I'd just be showing Granny how to use a smartphone, just with simple notes. That's kind of where the idea really kicked off from. We started off kind of doing out the notes on a page. Then we went to the laptop and we used Microsoft Publisher. And then I'd print off a page and I'd show it to my gran, and she would kind of, test it. And we would get her feedback, and then we would use that then to keep going. And then after a while, we decided to go on to the ICR. We sent it on to the group there in Galway, and we got feedback from them, because like this book was made during COVID, and we couldn't go and actually physically meet up with people, because that would have helped us a lot more. But look, we were lucky to have the ICR and my own granny to give us a hand.
But I suppose the fact that this was made during COVID as well, it made the project so much more important, because nobody could show somebody physically, so to be able to get a book like this was brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. And in the book we had to include like how to use Zoom, and especially a lot of people mightn't have known how to contact with family abroad. I know James's granny had family abroad in Poland, and she'd have loved to be able to contact them during COVID. But with this book you're able to know how to use Zoom, and it shows people how to be able to contact people abroad, especially during COVID and the lockdowns.
So it must have been quite a big challenge to confine it to what you thought was the most relevant parts for somebody, so that you don't want to be confusing somebody maybe with bits and pieces that they don't need to know how to use to be able to operate, a basic phone model.
Yeah, so that was kind of one of our biggest things, was trying to, like, the smartphone, there's so much information on it, and trying to pick the right things to put in it. But we just started off with the simple things. So that should be your introduction to your Android and iPhone. So that'd be getting to know your phone, the guide through the main menu, and then after that we had the issue of the two different operating systems on phones. So I don't know if people know, but there's Android and there's iPhone. So initially we had them both in the one chapter, and with the help of the ICR, with their feedback, they decided, well, look, why don't we half this, and we put it into two different chapters. So chapter 2 is iPhone and chapter 3 is Android. And because the functionalities of each operating system are different, we had to obviously make two different chapters. So we went with different things, so like how to connect to the internet, mobile data, airplane mode, creating contacts, making calls, how to answer a call, send text messages, downloading apps from App Store, and how to use a calendar and lamp clock. And then as a chapter 4, we went with the advanced aspects of a smartphone, so using YouTube, managing passwords and pins, and internet safety and security, how to screenshot, how to use WhatsApp, setting up Facebook, how to Google search something, how to use Zoom, how to use Google Maps, and how to set up and manage Gmail, and receiving an email. I suppose one of the most important things in the advanced features is probably the internet safety and scams, because we actually found that was one of the reasons a lot of people wouldn't buy a smartphone, as they were afraid of the threats of using them.
And that's a vast area, isn't it, especially for the elderly population? So you're trying to be cognizant of showing somebody how to use this, but how to use it safely.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why, especially the elderly, I think they were worried about using technology, and they didn't want to start their journey, and they were reluctant. So it was definitely very important to include internet safety and how to be safe, how to create a safe password, and all that, because then that'll help them feel more safe and secure online.
So you finally kind of get it all put to bed in terms of what you want in this booklet. You get a number of copies printed. I think you said 20 to me was the first print run, but that doesn't last very long.
Yeah, so we first got the 20 printed, and look, like, this is such a simple idea that kind of just started off with my granny. Then we had the first 20, and for about 2 days later they were flying out the door. We were getting a lot of calls, and then we started to go on different radio stations around Ireland, and we just kept selling and selling and selling all the way up to the competition, and we're still selling well. To date we have over 750 books sold, and we've released a book for the tablet, and we've released our Know Your Phone book in Oscuelga.
So tell everybody about the competition that you're referring to. This was something that you were proposed to enter through your secondary school, Holy Rosary College.
Yeah, so basically all business students get the opportunity to enter into a competition called the Student Enterprise Competition. So it starts out at county level. So there's 3 categories: junior, intermediate and senior. We're in the senior category, being 50-year students. So basically we entered into the Galway competition first, and we got the opportunity to become entrepreneurs basically, and we did a business report as well as the product. So that's market research and finance and all that, and we were very fortunate to win the Galway competition. So then technically we moved on to the All Irelands, but with COVID and stuff they wanted only the top 5 would be able to go up to Dublin to the actual in-person final, but we got through to the in-person final. So then we went up to the Helix in DCU, and we set up a stall, and we pitched our idea to the judges, and we're very fortunate to meet on Tánaiste Leo Varadkar, and we came second then that day.
That's an amazing achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, we're very proud of the whole everything.
And in terms of looking back at all the work that went into this, like, it started off being just a Know Your Phone project, then it went to Know Your Tablet. I mean, you're looking at expanding this, James, all the time.
Yeah, so at the moment we're planning on doing some courses throughout the summer, and also bringing out a book on the internet. But I suppose looking at the book, kind of its effect on people's lives, I always have the story me and Paul remember very well, and we probably will remember forever, was a lady down in Kerry who bought the book, and she was in the process of ordering online from me, and I'd put through her details and we'd post it out to her. But she was just after getting her smartphone, and she knocked off the phone about 4 or 5 times, and she was just getting very annoyed with it, and she was kind of debating whether or not to buy the book, because she was thinking, well, look, maybe it's a waste of time. And then about 4 weeks later, after she receiving the book, she rang me back, and look, she was over the moon. She had done so well with it. She was overjoyed, and look, to see kind of and hear the happiness in her voice kind of shows the effect of the book on people's lives.
So really, it was bigger than just an entrepreneur project. It was bigger than just a project through school. This is something that really affected people.
Yeah, definitely. Like, seeing that story about the woman in Kerry, just how like she was able to call us back after knocking off the phone, shows the effect and how it has helped people so much, and that's what we're very proud of.
So where do you hope that this will go to now with the next level of things?
As James said, we're planning on doing courses face to face. Yeah, being able to like receive feedback and help people along, and also with we can make a book about laptops and also Know Your Internet, because that's a very vast area of technology.
Now, look, I know you're facing into exams next year, James, so I mean, it's got huge business potential. You can clearly see that from all the success and the little offshoots from it as well. But it's going to be a big year for both you guys doing your leaving cert, but there's definitely, I think, a future in this for you.
Yeah, there definitely is. Like, even the two of us have a keen interest in business, and we may look to doing it even in college and even continuing on. Like, there's massive demand for help with technology, because like it's constantly in the news and people are constantly talking about it, so there's definitely a gap in the market for it.
So finally, James, for somebody who may be listening to this interview and would like to get more details, maybe get a copy of the book, how can they do that?
Yeah, so we have them in a few shops around in An Post in Ballygar, in Kids Shop Montbellew, in An Post Haskra, and also you can give us a call on 083 056 1140. That's 083 056 1140.
Lots of smart young men, but James Donoghue and Paul Mannion, they're speaking to Sally and Barret, will deliver their first smartphone course this Wednesday, the 29th of June, in Cantor Community Centre there. So there you go. Well done, though, to James and to Paul on that. It's I'll have to get the book myself, I'm afraid, even though I thought I was adept at it, but do you know what? There's